In this module, we are going to discuss communication, advocacy, and resilience skill sets. To place it in context, it is important to remember that refining these skills benefits you as an individual and employee, the healthcare team, and your patients. Your effort as an individual will have a lasting impact, personally and professionally. Communication types describe the ways we communicate and the specific medium we use to communicate. Types of communication include verbal, nonverbal, written, and visual. The graph provides examples of each type of communication. Let's discuss each briefly. Verbal communication includes the tone of voice, the vocal pitch, high or low voice, the pace that the information is shared, and the information that is shared with the other person or group. Nonverbal communication is through body language, facial expressions, physical posture, and eye contact. While we may not always be aware of our body language, it often has an impact on how the things we say are received by the other party. It communicates how we feel with what you say. Nonverbal communication can be involuntary and sometimes tells a different story from the words we say. Written communication includes patient records, employee manuals, text messages, emails, etc. The structure, clarity, and content of your written communication are important for getting your point across clearly. Visual communication includes videos, photographs, pamphlets, maps, graphs, etc. These types of communication are helpful for those who struggle with literacy. When communicating with others, we must remember to manage our approach. Don't avoid communicating your concerns. Consider using a more direct approach that is not demanding, accusatory, or passive. When communicating, voice your needs, respect others' opinions, and be accountable for your emotions. Healthy workplace communication goes both ways. Two-way communication requires both parties to respectfully present their needs. Understanding why and how to communicate your needs to supervisors and coworkers is an important step in improving workplace productivity, patient outcomes, and improving your well-being at work and at home. Self-advocacy and resilience are two concepts associated with positive two-way communication. Each of these concepts can be applied both in the workplace and in other settings. As you come to understand these skills, you will also develop a better understanding of when and in what situation communicating your needs is most effective. Developing situational awareness is important for fostering positive two-way communication. Conflict can be uncomfortable, especially when having conflict at work. Knowing how to address and manage conflict is not just for supervisors, but is important for the whole team. Conflicts can arise between coworkers, supervisors, patients, and even patient families. Conflict is not always avoidable, and some level of conflict is normal. It's defined as having a difference in opinion and the inability to agree. Just like communication styles, there are also conflict management styles that can promote effective de-escalation and arrival at a solution. Studies have shown that conflict can have an impact on your work morale and your mental health. These tips are meant to help you have emotional and personal awareness of your typical communication and conflict management style. This may assist in adapting how you respond to conflict in the future. Successful conflict management is how you handle disagreements or disputes with the goal of coming to an agreement. The Thomas Kilmann Conflict Mode instrument identifies 5 conflict management styles. Each can be used both negatively and positively to address conflict. Finding the right balance of when to use these different styles is important to successful conflict resolution. Everyone has one that is more dominant than another. However, we use them all at different times. These are explained in the graph below. Conflict styles are accommodating, cooperative and keeping the peace as the solution to conflict. Avoiding, staying away from conflict and postponing making a decision about an issue until a later time. Compromising, finding a happy medium between the desires of those involved in the conflict and choosing a direct solution. Collaborating, finding creative solutions so everyone is satisfied with the final outcome. Competing, standing your ground and defending what you believe if true without compromise. Though some of these management styles may seem negative, Each can be used in a positive manner during and outside of work. Sometimes it is necessary to accommodate a resident or patient about bathing later. Sometimes, avoiding conflict by choosing not to have an unnecessary conversation with a colleague is important. Other times, it may be necessary to find a happy medium. When? Attending to a resident or an issue with a coworker. This might even include staff responsibilities. Collaborating, which is finding a happy medium, might be good when there are too many tasks on hand and not enough staff. Lastly, competing may be necessary when a situation puts you or your resident at risk. As a CNA, you play a vital role in advocating for your patients, but you also have the responsibility to advocate for your own needs. The process of advocating for yourself is known as self-advocacy. Self-advocacy is a process by which you express your views, needs, and interests in the workplace. This process utilizes many of the skills you use in patient advocacy. Self-advocacy in the workplace reduces stress, burnout, fatigue, and increases job satisfaction and employee retention. Effective self-advocacy requires clear and respectful communication between you and your supervisors. Incorporating self-advocacy into your workplace relationships can be intimidating, but by planning, you will be prepared for these conversations as they come up. Self-advocacy empowers individuals to communicate your needs, gather information, and consider your options. Self-advocacy may start as an uncomfortable process or difficult process. There are strategies to make the process easier for everyone involved. The first step for successful self-advocacy is to identify your needs before approaching your supervisor. Consider your needs within the context of the 7 elements of well-being. Assess how your work impacts each of the elements of well-being. Consider whether realistic changes to your work situation are likely to result in improved well-being, and then brainstorm realistic solutions for improvement. Set personal limits. After assessing your personal well-being, consider what limits you must impose to maintain or improve your well-being. These limits should be realistic and fit your current job description and contractual agreements. One area that requires special consideration is accepting additional shifts. Consider the impact these additional shifts or time at work will have on your well-being. Are there other activities that you will need to cancel or reschedule to take the extra hours? And how does not participating in those activities impact your mental health and well-being? How well are you able to perform work-related tasks when taking on additional hours? And what positive benefits do you receive from taking on additional work? These benefits can be tangible or intangible, and their value differs from person to person. Determine the best communication strategy. Once you determine your needs and understand potential actions that need to be taken to meet those needs, identify the best strategy for communicating with organizational decision-makers. Look for official channels of communication. Some institutions have a specific process for speaking directly to supervisors. Follow the organizational communication protocols unless directed otherwise. Depending on the issue, your recommendations may be provided in person, in print, electronically, and over the phone. Identify and connect with the correct contact. After determining what you will communicate and how you will do it, you need to identify the frontline decision makers. Consider the chain of command or staff hierarchy when identifying the decision maker. The person you report to may not be the best option. Reflect on key conversations. Journaling or discussing your experience can help you plan for similar future events. Healthcare workers that reflect on past conversations develop strategies for future action and avoid repeating mistakes. Reflection provides the opportunity for you to hone your communication skills. Resilience is an individual's ability to cope with stress and change. You experience stress and change at work every day. Understanding and building resilience will help you prepare for these changes. Resilience also includes your ability to return to a normal state of being after a crisis. Understanding that crisis, emergencies, and change will occur is an important step in developing resilience. Building resilience is a process. It takes time and patience. By understanding the strategies for building resilience, you will be prepared to start on your personal journey. Building personal connections is the first step in developing resilience. As a healthcare worker, you have a stressful job. You experience difficult circumstances on a daily basis, and it is important that you develop meaningful personal connections, both professionally and personally, to help as you navigate those situations. These connections do not have to be work-focused. Connections with people through activities and community organizations also have a protective and bolstering effect on well-being. Find these connections and nurture them to become part of a larger community. Prioritize well-being. Consider your personal needs. These include your physical, social, emotional, intellectual, and financial well-being. Determine what actions you need to take to maintain your well-being. This includes getting adequate sleep, proper nutrition, and physical activity. These needs may fluctuate based on the situation, so taking regular assessments of well-being is essential for building resilience. Take time to recognize triggers and negative situations and develop a plan for avoiding or removing yourself from those situations. Your well-being matters. There are some situations that you cannot control, and that makes recognizing those situations you can change or leave even more important. Define your purpose. Define your purpose in different situations and settings. Find ways to contribute to your community and workplace in meaningful ways. Evaluate the skills needed to achieve this purpose and develop a plan for acquiring the needed skills. Focusing your actions around a purpose will help you find meaning in your work and life and keep difficult situations in perspective. Positive thinking. Unfortunately, you will encounter difficult situations in your work, but by consciously trying to keep a positive attitude, you will become more adaptable, better able to accept change, and more likely to keep events in perspective. Seek professional help as needed. There may be some situations that require professional help. Seeking professional mental health help and guidance can help you process and move forward from situations in a healthy and productive way.